Pyeongtaek is a city in Gyeonggi Province, South Korea. Located in the southwestern part of the province, Pyeongtaek was founded as a union of two districts in 940, during the Goryeo dynasty. It was elevated to city status in 1986, and is home to a South Korean naval base and a large concentration of United States troops. The Korean government plans to transform Pyeongtaek City to an international economic hub to coincide with the move of the United States Forces Korea to Pyeongtaek. During the Korean War it was the site of an early battle between U.S. and North Korean forces, the Battle of Punic. It is the location of Pyeongtaek University. Military base. The United States and South Korean governments came to an agreement to enlarge Camp Humphreys, a U.S. Army installation outside Untitled, a community in Pyeongtaek, and move the majority of U.S. forces stationed in the north of Seoul to the Camp Humphreys area. Invoking eminent domain, the government obtained the surrounding land for the base expansion. The move originally included the headquarters of the Combined Forces Command, which has operational control over OK, U.S., and UN combined forces during wartime. In March 2007, U.S. Defense Secretary Robert Gates and ROK Minister of Defense Kim Jang-soo agreed to dissolve the ROK U.S. Combined Forces Command on April 17, 2012. This would allow ROK forces to have wartime control of its military during a military confrontation with the North. The US-ROK agreement allows USFK to move to one centralized location away from the congestion of Seoul and its surrounding areas. This relocation agreement results in returning two-thirds of the land currently used by the United States military back to the Korean government. By 2008, the U.S. military was to have consolidated 41 installations down to 10 due to the relocation agreement. The United States Forces Korea's only jail facility in South Korea is at Camp Humphreys. The village of Untitled is outside Camp Humphreys main gate. Osan Air Base is in Songtan, a district in Pyeongtaek City. There have been heightened protests against the construction of the new USFK headquarters near Pyeongtaek. Moreover, authorities evicted protesters from occupying the elementary school and working the fields where the base will be built by placing barbed wire at the boundary of the future base. 1. Struggles erupted on May 4, 2006, when some 13,000 South Korean military soldiers and riot police arrived to guard the land where the new Camp Humphreys was to be built. Farmers could not get to their land to cultivate their rice. When troops arrived to set up the fencing, residents moved in to block them. The activists claim South Korean military troops injured over 200 people and rounded up 500 more. However, none of the soldiers were armed and the riot police's main role was to prevent the protesters from attacking the soldiers. On May 5, 2006, an undetermined amount of unarmed Korean Army soldiers were attacked by protesters with pipes and sticks after the riot police prevented the protesters from breaching the site. After a public outcry from the parents of some of the soldiers who were attacked, the government started to equip the soldiers with bamboo sticks and armor. 2. It was the first time since the 1980 Gwangju massacre that the South Korean military, as opposed to riot police, were used against demonstrators. 3. Pro-expansion protests were also witnessed during this time but at a much smaller scale. The main arguments of the pro-expansion protests were that the protesters that were occupying the Dae-ri Elementary School were not local farmers but were from an organized anti-US civic group from outside of Pyeongtaek. They estimated that fewer than 10% of the individuals that were protesting the expansion of Camp Humphreys were farmers that were being evicted. 4. As planned, Yongsan Garrison, in Seoul, and the 2nd Infantry Division will be moved to the same area by 2019. The South Korean government's handling of the surrounding land has led to conflict with local farmers in Dae-ri, Pyeongtaek due to the planned expansion of Camp Humphreys. 5. Notes: U.S. move is spurring evictions in S. Korea, massive force mobilized to evict U.S.-based protesters, activists are only using the people of Pyeongtaek article, more violence looms in planned rally at U.S. base site, U.S. base expansion in Korea sparks protests article. See also, Camp Humphreys, Songtan, USFK, List of cities in South Korea, Geography of South Korea. References. External links. Official Pyeongtaek website, Gyeonggi, a Pyeongtaek community outside Camp Humphreys, Pyeongtaek in a nutshell, Gyeonggi English News, Pyeongtaek restaurants and things to do, Pyeongtaek Facebook group, Until We Meet Again, a blog about a life that happens to be in Pyeongtaek.